What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. So 2 weeks ago, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund (IMF) was in Nigeria. That's Miss Christine Lagarde. And of course, we are in a monetary crisis right now in Nigeria, which I'll talk about later on. But I was really surprised that the IMF is trying to play the role of a savior again, giving us advice on how to save our economy. I'm really surprised because the IMF owes Nigeria big time. I'm saying this because IMF were the ones that used IBB Babangida to devalue Naira. IMF came to Nigeria when Buhari was the head of state and told Buhari to devalue Naira and borrow from IMF. Buhari refused, so Buhari started trading with Germany, Canada, Brazil. Now when IDD came in, he introduced austerity measure according to the advice of the IMF, austerity measure, and devalued Naira. And that was when the middle class disappeared in Nigeria. Now, about 3 decades after that, that was when IMF released a statement that they were wrong with the advice that they gave the austerity measure. Can you believe about 30 years after, as a concerned Nigerian, after IMF released that statement, I thought that the next thing Nigeria would do would be to either ask for a refund of all the money that we've lost because of their advice or sue IMF. We're talking about losing trillions of Naira. And I mean, they know what happened. That was why they released the statement. We used to be better than South Korea and Malaysia. Those ones did not do the austerity measure. Look at where they are today and look at where we are. They basically set us back 50 years. I know it's not just the IMF. It's coupled with corruption among Nigerian officials. So many of our officials that have stolen billions of dollars. So despite what they did in the 80s, remember when Mr. Jonathan was president, IMF came back to Nigeria again, and it was this same madam that came. As soon as she left, what happened? And Jonathan removed subsidy. Well, part of subsidy at least. We shouted and shouted then. Did anything happen? No. So when madam came to Nigeria again at the beginning of this year to advise us on how to manage our economy, I was like, Nigeria, why is nobody asking when IMF will pay us damage? If you go to a doctor and he operated on you and forgot his knife inside you, you have every right to sue the doctor. Not be so, because that mistake would have led to a lot of complications. I know that a lot of African Americans in America are already telling the US that the US needs to pay them for bringing them here as slaves. If they can do that, we can also sue the IMF for what they've done in our economy. Even if we don't learn from our own experience, at least we all heard recently when they tried to bail out Greece. Greece was like, I beg. I hope Buhari is not considering borrowing from IMF, because the money that they owe us, if they can pay back the trillions of Naira that we've lost because of what they did, that would go a long way at this time of hardship in Nigeria. Now, let's talk about the mess presently called Nigerian economy. And to be honest, this whole mess we are in right now is because the previous administration refused to save a dime when oil was being sold for more than $100 per barrel. Jonathan refused to save a dime. Ngozi did not save anything. Not only did they not save anything, they also borrowed money and they dipped their hands into the foreign reserves. So now we are in a serious mess, which is why I've been laughing whenever I hear budget. By the way, the Senate president has confirmed that indeed the presidency has submitted an adjusted budget, which tells me it was Mr. President that secretly withdrew the budget last week. Remember, we were looking for Nigeria's budget. But my oga, next time, don't take things through the window. It's okay to ask for more time to review the budget. Don't go through the back door. And the funny thing now is the Senate president is insisting that the Senate will only review the first budget that was submitted in December. So we don't know what will happen, if it will be the new budget or the old budget and lower. But as I was saying, I've been laughing each time I hear the budget. I've been seeing that they want to spend 1.3 billion naira on BMW, salon cars and jeeps and buses for the presidency and his guests. I've been seeing money for State House headquarters, 11.8 billion naira. Overhead cost, 1.8 billion. Honorarium and sitting allowance, 69 million, etc. By the way, this is according to the new budget. The old budget, it was more than that. So this budget, by the way, was based on the belief that oil price would not fall below $37 per barrel. That was in December. My dear, how much is oil price today? $22, my father and my God. Are you sure? Do you guys see what I'm saying? Because what I'm saying is very catastrophic in an osmotic situation, as I'm saying. And I've been seeing articles that oil price is likely to get down to $20 per barrel. $20. That would be $17 difference from what the budget was based on. So what this is telling me is that we don't have the cash flow to successfully implement this budget. And why is no one asking the presidency about this? About how they would fund this budget? I've heard that they are going to borrow money. Are we going back to massive borrowing? Are we borrowing from IMF? Are we borrowing from China? Exactly what is the plan? What about we stop relying on petrol like some of us have been shouting for years? Wouldn't that be nice? I read somewhere that we could make 24 billion naira from groundnut alone. Groundnut, remember those groundnut pyramids in Kano? Yeah. I also read somewhere that we can make up to 202 billion from cocoa. We used to export cocoa like no man's business. What happened? I don't know how much we would make from gold, but I know that the gold that we have in Nigeria is reportedly 3 times what they have in Ghana. Not to talk about more than 20 other natural resources. Like I said a few weeks ago, I don't think that there's any state in Nigeria with no multiple natural resources. If you ask me, I think this is the time for Nigerian government to stop relying on oil and start diversifying our economy. And I know they are now talking about diversifying the economy. I wish they listened years ago. At least when I started this show, I've been talking about it. I started this show 4 years ago, you know. I wish they would listen then when we've been talking about this thing. I wish they would have been diversifying the economy at that time. By now, we would have been reaping the rewards. Not only that, all the people that we are arresting, you know, we really need all the money that they've stolen. Please cooperate now. If they've arrested you, my fathers in the Lord. I didn't mention anybody. Are you crazy? All of you they've arrested. Just bring back this money. We need it as a nation. I heard that Mr. Olesameto is refusing to refund the money that he was given. 400 million naira for one man. Even though naira has really fallen, that is still more than $2 million. My father, return this money. See, I love the fact that they set his bill at exactly 400 million naira. I said yes. Personally, me, I'm not that interested in people spending the rest of their lives in prison as much as I'm interested in getting back the money that they've stolen. And not just him, my other father, you know, Mr. Falaye, you should also return the money now when we have a lot of young people that are suffering. We are suffering. Return the money. This is our money. Anyway, you guys know I don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. So this next story is for all South Africans that are making fun of Mr. President. Do not think that Jacob Zuma is not aware. His eyes are everywhere. He sees what you type on Twitter, on Facebook, and he watches what you say on YouTube. You know, like that big billboard mounted in Cape Town that says Zuma must fall. Did you hear about it? No one knows exactly who sponsored that billboard, but come and see people making fun of Mr. President.
I think it's about time.
Excellent. It's not a good idea if you did.
That's perfect!
Hey! Look at these South Africans. Can you imagine? People are not afraid anymore. What is this world turning into? Even little kids are now yabbing Zuma.
Zuma takes our tax money that we work hard to pay for and built a 246 million mansion with our tax money between the border of Gauteng and KZN. It's called Unkandla.
Hey, thank you, my sister. Taxpayers' money that you worked for. Don't be so. Tell these people.
I don't think Zuma is intelligent. A golden toilet, and he buys it with our tax money.
That girl is very hardworking, by the way, which is why she was disappointed by the house that Zuma built with all that money.
The house, I expected it to be a double story, but when I look at it, it's just a rondavo.
It's not a double story.
Anyway, unfortunately, the Zuma must fall sign has been removed by ANC. Some people said ANC thugs. You know, I cannot say that. I would rather say ANC supporters. Well, maybe they can be called thugs because of what happened while they were trying to remove it. There was a fight with a non-supporter of Jacob Zuma. Yeah, it was a mess. But you know, of course, there were people that were standing there singing the praises of Jacob Zuma. You know, these are ANC supporters.
Zuma, 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 Zuma. Zuma, we love you so much.
Yes, but like I said, don't think that Zuma is not watching you. Every one of you, he sees you on Plasma TV. I know this based on what he said last week Friday while addressing 19 South African students that his foundation would sponsor to attend the American University of Nigeria. Zuma said some interesting things that day. So first of all, he said, I suffered because I never went to school. And that's the reason why I decided to educate myself. There are people whose business it is to say we cannot have a man who never went to school running a country. Wait a minute. The man didn't go to school. What that explains a lot. That explains, yes, never mind. So he also said no one has ever said it is a miracle for this man to have become president. Ungbo, why didn't you say it? South Africans, and no one has written a column about it. Che, South Africans, see your lights now. Instead of you to be making documentaries and writing columns on the huge miracle of somebody like Jacob Zuma becoming your president, you are putting up banners. Zuma must fall. You are spending time and money putting on banners. See your lives. The man said, if I listen to critics, I would have that disease that white people call stress. But I don't have it because I know better. I know, you see what a smart man. This man is very smart, very intelligent.
I don't think Zuma is intelligent.
You don't do. Zuma is very intelligent. I'm sure the girl has not heard about this statement. That is why she's saying that. And then he said, they can't believe that you come from a poor background and that you have managed to make something of yourself. And so they try to make a laughing stock out of you. Oh God. They're trying to make a laughing stock out of Jacob Zuma. Hey, enemies of progress. All of you that are trying to make a laughing stock out of Zuma. You see, he knows. They try to make you feel like you are not capable and make you feel like you don't know what you are doing. Hey, yeah. They make you feel like you're just useless. Okay. This is starting to sound like somebody that I know. Or someone that I used to know, what is wrong with you now? Must I? Did I mention? Oh God, you know what's up there about me? How you did? Stay down, Joe. We're talking about Zuma right now. Enemies of progress. Wait. How does this help the students going to Nigeria, by the way? You know the students he was addressing. If you come from a poor family, by nature, you are automatically placed and labeled according to different social classes. Okay. This is that. You don't do. I think I've read enough. This is starting to become ridiculous. No more. My dear, you're right. Just put up the photo of your next to. Yes, put up their photos. If you call me. These men are birds of the same feathers. Seriously, Zuma is also trying to play the victim's card. You are from a poor family. Really, Zuma, you are not educated. You are supposed to be celebrated for making it in life. Are you kidding me? Where is that girl? Where is that girl? Put her up, my dear. You are absolutely right. You do make a lot of sense now that I'm looking at it from the peripheral level of the metamorphosis. You are right, my dear. Mr. President, the fact that you are from a poor background is why you shouldn't steal taxpayers' money to build your own house. This has nothing to do with your background, my man. Hard-working taxpayers like my girl right here, they are finding it hard to survive while you wallow in riches at Unkandla, and they are upset. All I'm saying is, instead of thinking about why people would spend money to erect a sign like this and think about what they are trying to tell you, you are speaking as if these are just enemies of progress, jealous of you. That's a mentality difference that I personally cannot help you with. I can only wish you good luck, like I told Mr. Jonathan as well. Anyway, you guys know I don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. So, a huge shout out today to all my Gambian people for prevailing against the orders of Mr. President Yahya AJJ Jammeh. As you guys know, in December, Mr. President suddenly announced one day that Gambia is now an Islamic state, to which a lot of Gambians were like, what? Not in my name. And many of them released videos that not in my name. Well, despite his promise that becoming an Islamic state won't affect people of other religions, at the beginning of this year, though, Mr. President announced that all women in Gambia must cover their heads, especially civil servants. If you don't cover up, you will lose your job. And that was where the battle began. Once again, Gambians, both Christians and Muslims, including clerics on both sides, began speaking out against this. Listen to this woman.
Gambians have had enough. It is time for all Gambians to stand up against Yahya Jammeh. This behavior is going to breed terrorism in Gambia. Terrorists gravitate towards presidents who declare an Islamic state in their countries while thinking Boko Haram, ISIS, and all these terrorist organizations.
She is a Muslim woman, by the way. Tell them, my mother, tell them.
That is going to be a danger to Gambians. Gambia used to be called the smiling coast of Africa, but today you can call it the darkest coast of Africa because of Yahya Jammeh.
So many other Gambians were saying, well, the first lady doesn't always cover up her hair when she's going out, or the daughter of Mr. President. Why is it that the people are the ones that must to suffer? You know how happy I was when I heard that Jammeh reverted the law? I was so happy because the people united and fought for a common cause, and they won. This tells me that with unity, anything is possible. The only thing that baffled me though was what Mr. President said. Yeah, apparently he said the women are best friends of Mr. President. Thank you. This is what he said. Can you believe? He said women are his best friends. So he doesn't want to offend them. That's why he reverted the law. I said, really? Since when? You just like woke up and realized this is your best friend that you were hurting? Jermaine, like really? Yeah, Jermaine. Yeah. Never mind. Now move closer, my people. You don't do. I've been hearing that. Why am I whispering? I've been hearing that the reason that Mr. President is doing this is not really because of his love for Allah. Yes. I'm hearing that it is because Gambia is broke, that the economy is down, no more support from Western countries. They stopped sending him money because of all the human rights violations going on there. So now Mr. President wants money from Islamic countries, and before he can get it, he must to appear like it's one of them. You didn't hear this from me. In fact, my mother, tell them one more time.
My personal assessment of why he's doing all of this is because Gambia's economy is in peril. He owes the IMF a lot of money because of his bad behaviors as a dictator. He is not getting assistance from Western governments because he goes around trashing them anyways. He bites the hand that feeds him.
You see? Meanwhile, he has a $3.5 million house in Potomac here in Maryland, United States. No, so why can't he sell that house? Wait, he has a house in a Western country? Yet he would be yapping Western countries, blaming them for everything wrong in Africa. Jamming. His wife comes here to shop and all that, and they will be yapping. Waiting be my own. Now I'm hearing that he wants to change the flag of Gambia as well, so that they would have a new flag that would reflect Islamic State. You know what I found really interesting is that this man can just wake up one day and decide to change the currency. I talked about that. Now he has his picture on all of Gambian's currencies, and now he wants to change the flag. He's running this like a one-man show. This is a whole country, To be honest, I keep asking myself, it looks like common sense is not that common. When would this man use some common sense? Because you yourself don't have peace anymore. He knows that what he's doing is not good, so he's constantly afraid that someone is after him. Did you hear that he arrested the head of household at the presidential palace and the chef? Yes, apparently he suspected that they poisoned him. No, he didn't have any stomach upset. He didn't die, not even food poisoning. But from what I read, the food tasted funny, so he had them arrested. Funny can be defined in many ways. The ridiculous thing is, this is not the first time that he would arrest and reinstate these people. So he has no peace. He's always afraid that someone would poison him. How do you live like that? Why can't you just do us all a favor, Mr. President, and just step down? That would just make everything much easier. Just step down, my old guy. You've done enough. 20 years, haba. You've done enough. You guys now don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Burkina Faso, where they recently inaugurated a new president after the people kicked out Blaise Compaoré. By now, many of you have heard about what happened last week, the terrorist attack by Al-Qaeda at the popular Splendid Hotel at the capital. 28 people from various countries of the world were killed that day. Yes, they targeted a hotel that was popularly patronized by Westerners. Many of them were missionaries and humanitarian workers who went there to serve. Another 55 others were critically injured. Now, to all who lost their loved ones, and we'll be showing pictures of some of them as I talk throughout this story, please accept our sincere condolences. There's no word that can describe what you're going through right now. It made absolutely no sense to any of us, talk less of you. May their souls rest in peace. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that the same thing happened in Mali last November when Al-Shabaab invaded Radisson Hotel, also at the capital, Bamako, where foreigners are known to patronize. They also killed more than 20 people at that time, and they took 170 people hostage before they were freed. Now, from these attacks in Mali, in Burkina Faso, it's obvious that terrorists are targeting different African countries, especially where the government is weak. I'm not saying this is only happening in Africa, but I'm saying we need to wake up. In case anyone is sleeping, it is obvious that there's an unspoken rivalry between Al-Qaeda and ISIS and Al-Shabaab. As you know, many people have left Al-Qaeda to pledge allegiance to ISIS. Boko Haram in Nigeria did that. Therefore, Al-Qaeda is doing everything now to remain relevant. Al-Shabaab is also doing everything to remain relevant. Listen to this.
Al-Qaeda is very threatened by the rise of the Islamic State, and they are threatened with even being absorbed into the Islamic State as more and more people look at the success of ISIS and say that that's the group that's most attractive to me, and because they are winning, that's the group that God wants me to join.
Now, the sad thing is knowing that ISIS have sponsors in like 40 countries. And it's not just Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Last Friday, Friday, Al-Shabaab terrorist group claimed responsibility for the Kenyan soldiers that were killed in Somalia. In fact, I've been really touched by how Kenyan government and the people of Kenya have reacted to this. Nigeria certainly can learn some lessons. In Burkina Faso, Mali, and Kenya, these attacks have been national tragedies. Meanwhile, we have become desensitized after losing thousands of people to terrorist attacks in Nigeria. So I'm hoping that these attacks will be a wake-up call for all African governments so that we can do all that we need to do on time. And I hope it will be a wake-up call for foreigners that it's no longer safe to lodge at hotels that are frequently patronized by foreigners. It looks like they're targeting foreigners, so it's probably not the best idea now if you're going to anywhere in Africa. Don't go and stay where, it's usually foreigners that stay there. To be honest with you, I don't know if there will ever be a time that we'll no longer have terrorists in this world, because things have continually gotten worse. But we need to be able to say about us that we did all that we could. To all the family members of soldiers who have laid down their lives in the fight against terrorism, please accept our condolences as well. May their souls rest in peace. Guess what? I'm just keeping a room. Before I read emails, I'd like you guys to see a little bit of Burundi. Very beautiful, right? Except that their president that has refused to leave. I wish the man would just leave and let peace reign. He's destroying that country as it is. So before I leave, I'd like to read some of your emails. And the first one is actually a comment left by a viewer of Keeping It Real on my Facebook page, Aminu Ibrahim Kunya. And he says, "Hi, Adeola. We are the 50 nurses sponsored by Kano State government to study BSc nursing in Mansoura University in Egypt. Our salaries were stopped after commencement of our studies, and our monthly feeding allowances was also not paid for 4 months. Our utility allowances for books, electricity, water, and health bills, which was approved by the previous government, was also not paid. Wow. Previously, there is illegal deduction of over 100,000 naira in every 6 monthly payment of feeding allowances. We've made several efforts in finding solutions to our problems, but no positive outcome. We're left with no option than to come out to the media and let the general public and all those concerned to please come to our rescue. We're left stranded in a foreign land with no food to eat, no money to pay for electricity, and also no money to seek medical help." This is from Aminu Ibrahim Abubakar from Mansoura University in Egypt. Wow. I don't understand. I've been getting a lot of complaints about the new government of Kano. Like, really? If you've committed to doing something, even if it wasn't you, it was the previous administration, you need to follow through. These are Nigerians stranded in Egypt. And these are nurses, by the way. Don't they want them to come back to Nigeria to work? Like, if you are treating them like this, what makes you think they would want to come back to use whatever they learn in Egypt to better the lives of Nigerians? Really, I hope that the government of Kano would wake up and listen to the cries of these people. And it's not just Aminu, by the way. Another of those nurses also came and left a comment. Both of them left their comments on my Facebook page. That is Rabiu Umar Fulatan. And he also talked about the fact that they are suffering in Egypt. Funny enough, somebody from Kano sent me this picture that this is the governor of Kano was the one that was looking sleepy in that photo, that since he came in, that's what he's been doing. Please wake up, sir. People are suffering abroad. So the next email is from Emeka Eze. And this person says, "Hi, Adeola. I'm a Nigerian, but I'm living in Thailand. Please, Adeola, I want you to help us tell the whole world what the Thai police are doing to Africans here, especially Nigerians. If they don't want black people in their country, they should tell us and not turn us to ATM machines. They are really doing bad things to black people and nobody can speak for us. Please and please speak for our embassy here is doing nothing." This is very sad because they've been really harassing a lot of black people. I'm aware of that. And it's also also due to the part that a lot of people are engaging in drug trafficking in Malaysia, in Thailand. It's very sad because now they look at all Nigerians as if we are all bad apples. I really don't know what to say than to say be careful until you get what you went there to get. If it's your studies, be observant about your environment, watch where you go, and be careful the companies that you keep. They are looking at every one of us as if we are all bad apples because of the few among us that have given us bad publicity. The next email is from Anonymous. He calls himself Gus25, and this person says, "Hi Adeola, even sending small money home is now becoming wahala. I sent £100 last week, which is supposed to be 36,375 naira, and I was surprised at the delay in confirming the transaction. I have just received this rubbish explanation." This is what they sent to him. "The transfer to your beneficiary has been completed, but we have the information from our partner that your beneficiary's bank account does not accept more than 20,000 naira. 20,000. So only 20,000 has been credited into the account of your beneficiary. Please inform the beneficiary to make a withdrawal to enable our partner to pay the rest." So you're making it impossible for people to receive more than 20,000 naira at a time? Hey, whoa, what is this? What is all this nonsense? For how long? This is a real recession in Nigeria. This is recession. Recession is going on right now in Nigeria. I don't understand it anymore. People cannot withdraw money abroad. They can't send money home, only 20,000 naira. What is going on now? There is God though in everything we're doing. My brother, keep me updated. Let me know if your beneficiary got the rest of the money. Get your ass together, Ujari. And the next email is from Jami Usman from Mina. "I still understand that electricity in other places are now stable, at least 14 hours a day, but in Mina, Niger State, they zone the light and each zone now has only 4 hours of electricity in a day, and that's not cool. You know I don't know anything. I'm just keeping it real. Peace out. Thank you, my brother. I hope that they fix your electricity. I can't even imagine living like that. 4 hours in a day. How do you watch Keeping It Real, my brother? I feel your pain. I hope somebody is watching us from Niger State and may not fix people's electricity. What is the meaning of this, please? Fix people's electricity. Thank you, my brother, for writing. So that's the last email I'll be reading. But before I forget, and this is not an email, I've been getting a lot of inquiries about the fact that Donald Trump told all Nigerians to leave the US and go back home. It's a lie. It's not true. Somebody came up with that story. I think they fabricated it on a fake NigerianNews.com. But people are now circulating this thing on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Twitter, everywhere. It's not true. Donald Trump did not say Nigerians should go back home. So that's just for those that are circulating that news. So that's all the time that I have for emails today. Please keep sending your emails to adeola.keepingitreal@gmail.com. Alright, y'all, it's been real. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's been real, and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I must see y'all later. Peace out.
Welcome to Forstview Luxury Hotel. At Forstview Luxury Hotel, we offer excellent service. Our rooms have all the necessary facilities to make your stay comfortable and memorable. You will also have access to internet service, breakfast, 24-hour power supply, full air condition, free international calls, free tire pumping service, and free car battery charge. So what are you waiting for? Quickly visit Forstview Luxury Hotel. We are located at #1 Adeola Bamishile off Raji Rasaki Road, First Estate, Amuwo, Odofin Festac, Lagos. For more information or reservation, please call us on 08075787135 or 08099900601. You can also take advantage of our online ongoing promo at www.forceviewhotel.com to make your reservation and payment for your favorite room, which attracts a discount rate. Please note, rooms are reserved based on first come, first serve. Forstview Luxury Hotel. Experience the home of comfort. They come.